is they are changing the way people should transport, or they should move from one place to another. If we think about, let's say, Airbnb, now Airbnb has market value more than what we have the Marriott or other big hotel chains. The thing is, they are not using resources. They don't have their own hotel buildings. They don't have any own resources, but still they are making money, and they don't have their own employees to give services to the people. So, for example, Airbnb, if I have a house, I can rent it out to somebody. So, and Airbnb gets some kind of commission, 3-4%. But the liability goes on me mostly, if I'm serving properly or not, and about my business. So like these platforms are making many small entrepreneurs. So many people, they are using this kind of houses as a small business. Maybe they have 5-6 houses. They're renting out, all on a digital platform. So this is not only, these are the big companies from US, but in local, we have many companies as well. So this is how main companies are threatened by emerging digital-based companies. Also, if we think about R&D, innovation, idea generation, and crowdsourcing, if we would like to get ideas from general people, we have a platform, we can invite people. We can have teams online to solve very complex problems, scientific problems. So there are some platforms like Innocentive, Idea Connection. So many things we can do based on platforms. And these are obviously much cheaper than traditional way of doing things. So this is how this digital transformation is changing the business landscape radically.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mukhtar. Digital transformation also draw our attention about how we can prepare our entrepreneurship, how we can entrepreneurs be ready to carry out digital transformation. And let me go to Dr. Boumediene to explain to us how can entrepreneurs transfer their business into digital business. What does it need to prepare entrepreneurs? What does it need to transform business to digital business?
So I have been involved in a number of research that looks at how small businesses can develop themselves and transform themselves into a digital hub, if you like to say. Now, if you ask some of the entrepreneurs, what is it that they need to do, or some of the very successful entrepreneurs that have made it, that have ripped the benefits out of these technologies, what have they done? Then there are three things that I think, and some of the research that I've done actually informed that. And these three things are, first, you have to, as an entrepreneur, you have to always be up to date with the latest trends. Now, the latest trend can be in Internet things. It can be in big data analytics. You've got to know what these trends are, but also you've got to ask yourself a question: how am I gonna use these trends to my advantage? How am I gonna use that technology to solve a particular problem? Always ask yourself that question: how am I gonna do something about a particular problem in the business and use that technology to help me to solve that problem within the business? And finally, can you be part of that digital transformation? You hear of the blockchain. A lot of fintech companies nowadays are just emerging as we speak. Now, if you are in the financial service and you're a small business, then you might say, all right, how is a blockchain going to help me sort some of the problems that I have within the business? And not only sort my problems, but maybe I could introduce the world to solving my own problems. And that's where the business opportunities actually come from. So you might be starting off with trying to solve your own problem, but then create new businesses that can be part of solving other people's problems that you already had within your business. So these are the three things that I think have emerged out of some of the research that I've done with colleagues.
Okay, let me go to Dr. Abdulaziz. How we can learn about coming disruptive technology, how we can contribute here and build a base for digital transformation in Qatar, which can help the economy in general and help entrepreneurs to survive in this changing world?
Yeah, very good question. Indeed. So when it comes to digital transformation and more particularly to the disruptive technologies, theoretical learning is not sufficient. So practicing is also very important, and such experience could be reached through both research centers, for example, or the field. This means that the solution is really in the partnership between the university and the industrial and economical sectors. Cooperative education, project-based learning, sandwich programs, cooperative research, etc. are really the solution. In the era of the current industrial revolution, that we call it also the Industry 4.0, to learn, for example, cybersecurity, big data, digital twins, and so on, which are part of the disruptive technologies we are talking about, the students, for example, need accurate data from the field, but they do need also interaction with the industry professionals and to understand, for example, the complex processes and scenario related to the digital transformation. The processes, by the way, are most difficult than just implementing the technology itself. From the other side, from the side of the engineers and professionals, for example, from the companies, it is absolutely a need for them to be in relationship with the universities, for example, to upgrade and to update their knowledge on the new technological trends and fundamental approaches. So such mutual learning cooperation is, in the same time, the best way to guarantee a quick integration of the learners, students or engineers in the markets, and opens really for them a huge employment opportunities. So the keyword is really cooperation, mutual cooperation between the industry sector, between the companies and the universities.
Thank you, Doctor. Once we touch disruptive technology, we think about the future and what is the direction which we can draw the attention of our entrepreneurs. Let me go to Dr. Mukhtar. What is a promising direction or strategic direction which we can enable, we can teach our entrepreneurs, enable them to meet the challenge or to survive during crisis? What do you think about this like strategic direction for digital transformation?
Yeah, so I think we can learn a lot from China. Maybe 20 years ago, Western people were asking questions why China cannot innovate. But things have changed radically in recent times. Now China, based on digital technology, they are pioneer, let's say, robots, fintech, and then video games. All are like making connection between devices and then soft elements like artificial intelligence, 3D printing, and then blockchain. And then blockchain is getting increasingly popular, even though due to lack of our knowledge about technologies, we are a little bit fearful that people can abuse our information, our money may be taken out by somebody else, but things are there. That's why every class, every course, I tell my students that if you are not learning the programming language, any of these, because you are graduating now, you'll be working after 5 years, you may not be useful for the employers. So our learning should have, as much as possible, things which are associated with it, digital transformation. So it's like IT based, and then new technologies like 3D printing, machine learning, robotics, and the big data. And if we check the recent books on management, maybe in addition to the main management theories or information, they always have something on these topics. What does it mean? Things are moving to digital transformation aspects, and we need to teach our students, and also we should be educated ourselves about things which are associated with digital transformation. Now, if we think about payment system, even in many developing countries, very low-income countries, they transfer money over mobile phone. If we think about Qatar, still we use our card, maybe we have cash. We don't have much digital transfer system in our everyday life. So I think best thing is to see what's going on in developed countries and also in developing countries, and bringing them to see what is the best way to have digital transformation things in a particular context. So we can learn a lot from China and other countries, along with rich countries.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. You talk about strategic direction to digital transformation, but also would like to see how is developed world, developed countries, UK, European countries, how they prepare their entrepreneurs. Let me go to Dr. Boumadiene to give us an idea about preparing our entrepreneurs to be forefront for digital transformation, learning from the experience of developed world.
So here, Dr. Mahmoud, I think this is a really good question, and particularly because it looks at the policy level. So what are governments doing regarding the enablement of their small businesses with digital technologies? I have done some work with the World Bank on digital transformation for small businesses. And as you can imagine, the World Bank would not be interested in this area unless it's key to the enablement of both developing and developed world. And the World Bank assessment of some of the things that came out of the research is that digital transformation can help these businesses do so much better. But if you look at the experience of some of the developed world, the rich countries, you will see that policymakers or governments are doing so much more when it comes to the policy level. So they've drafted a number of basically what they do is a number of surveys that picks up where small businesses are doing so badly, and then they inject a lot of money, a lot of support for small businesses to pick up some of the technologies. So give you an example, for example, open banking, which is a completely new area that is transforming the small business sector in the UK, where I know a bit more about. So, the monopoly of big banks is out of the door. All the data has been made available by the European Commission to small banks to actually use them to create new services for businesses around the world. And what the UK government has done is to inject a lot of money to help those small businesses pick up the pieces. And some of the technical issues that Dr. Boras has mentioned regarding, all that training that needs to be done, the government actually, prepares or gets these SMEs ready through a number of things, conferences, a number of training sessions, a number of, government funds that can help those small businesses actually be ready for adopting and embracing those technologies and changing the business models that they have so that they do better in that particular area.
Thank you, Dr. Boumediene. Your discussion drew our attention to the role of research and development. And we do a lot of research in Qatar University, in other institutions in Qatar, either supported by Qatar National Research Fund or internal grants by Qatar University. I'd like to ask Dr. Abdulaziz Bouras to give us an idea how we can link our research with community, how we can make our researcher to investigate the challenge related to digital transformation, and then identify our priorities for digital transformation, setting some policies which support digital transformation. So, Dr. Abdulaziz, can you give us an idea about recent trends in research and how it can contribute to digital transformation?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think what is really important here for me is really the process of making the research when it comes to digital transformation. And when it comes to R&D, for example, in general, the best way to overcome the challenges that we have today is really to build a collective intelligence between the industry and the higher education and research labs. For the benefits, of course, of the market and the business in general. And this could be done only through highly scientific skills and the transfer of the latest knowledge between the industry and the university, for example. In enrolling graduate and post-doctoral or doctoral students within specific R&D partnership schemes between the university and the industry, for example. This is called the KTP, Knowledge Transfer Partnership in UK, for example, or CIFR in France. I personally supervised several industry-based PhDs in the past, and I can witness about the innovation that they introduced really in some sectors like the aeronautical and the car industry, etc., etc. So the best way for me to deal with the research in or related to the technologies or the processes in the digital transformation is really in a cooperative way between the research centers, research labs, and the business in general. Because we need to collect data, we need to work on processes, things are evolving every day, every minute, and we need really to catch all this and go fast. And the best way is really to work together and make a transfer in both ways.
Okay, Dr. Abdulaziz, you draw our attention to an important area, which academic industry collaboration for doing research that serves the communities, that serves the economy. But let me go back about the different environment here in Qatar compared to Europe, compared to US. There are a lot of incentive in terms of tax incentive, in terms of other supporting. How we can develop some policies which encourage private sector here in Qatar to work with academic to find a solution, to do research which more practical, and which by the end of the day, we need research that is win-win situation. How we can encourage private sector, how we can develop some policies. This is a general question for our respected panelists here, Dr. Abdulaziz or Dr. Boumediene or Dr. Mukhtar. They can give us an idea how we can develop different policies than Europe, because Europe rely heavily on tax policies, but here we haven't tax. We need different mechanism. What kind of different mechanism that we can use? Dr. Boumediene?
Yes, sure. I think what Dr. Abdulaziz just mentioned regarding the UK as an example with KTP knowledge transfer partnerships is a really good measure that can allow people and companies to make that innovation happen. And this partnership with the industry is absolutely paramount. It can look like as a fund that you would give a small business or an entrepreneur that would help them. But I have met with these people that have done green technology, that have done some amazing innovations that have happened simply because of that partnership. Now, you've got the knowledge, as correctly stated by Dr. Abdulaziz, at the university, but you've got and researchers at the university, but you've got people with problems in the real world. And I'm talking about people who experience day-to-day operational problems. And what they're looking for is that triggering of that collaboration between the two. Governments can come in with, programs like the KTP in the UK, which can help Qatari businesses here to solve some of the problems that they have. Now, you might say, how is that going to happen? It happens through that consortium between the academics, the university here, the firms, the practice, and also the industry, what we refer to as the triple helix and quadruple helix in the literature. But really, is that consortium bringing them together to help solve some of the problems that small businesses have.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Boumediene. Dr. Mukhtar, what do you think about stimulating collaboration between academic institution and industry? How we can encourage collaboration which support digital transformation? What do you think? You came from Finland, you work in UK. Just to give us an idea how we can benefit from some experience overseas and bring it here or customize to our needs here.
Yeah, that's a very serious question. So when we talk about digital transformation, we usually think that's all about technology. But digital transformation has three important pillars. It's technology itself, then we have people, then we have process. So when we talk about people, we need to know about the culture. Like the culture means business culture or the government culture. So for example, when I was in Denmark, then the national funding was provided for around 50 students to work on these digital transformation related topics like Industry 4.0, then Internet of Things, artificial intelligence. So it is kind of top-down approach to stimulate digital transformation. So from education to industry. And this program was industry-based PhDs. So companies are working with the universities in Denmark. So this is one way how we can collaborate. Maybe having PhD students who will work in a company, but closely related with the university. This is one thing. So when I moved to UK at Manchester University, then UK government had a policy how we can have Industry 4.0. They can stimulate this kind of digital transformation technologies. So it came also down from top. So it's very difficult to have bottom-up approach when it comes to digital transformation. And then we need to have top-down. And then we need to have people who are familiar with these kind of things, and they are happy to take the necessary steps to embrace digital transformation things. So this is how I think collaboration between industries and the academic organizations. This is one thing. The other thing is keeping awareness about what is going on across the world on different industries or top technologies, so that the people know, especially the younger generation, they know that what's going on, in which direction we should go. But let me point out very quickly here, only around 4 or 5% digital transformation cases are successful across the world. So research says something very looming scenario of digital transformation. So if you go to a company, everybody says, we are embracing many different digital things in our company. But the research says something different. It says like only 4 or 5% cases are successful. So why is that? It's technology is there. We can bring technology from other places, but people are probably not that competent, or they are not so interested or motivated to embrace these new technologies to beef up the digital transformation experts. So I think we need to consider technology, people, and process, all three together, keeping our eyes open, what's going on around.
Thank you, Dr. Mukhtar. I think we have experience in working with industry in some area. Maybe Dr. Abdulaziz, when he was endowment professor for ICT Qatar, and he did some work with Digital Incubation Center, he can give an idea about how this model was working and how we can make continuing effort to keep such successful models. So, Dr. Abdulaziz, can you give an idea about collaboration between academy and industry, like the case of Digital Incubation Center when you was there with them? Give us an idea about entrepreneurs, how they contribute to digital transformation.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe before answering this question, I think you said something very interesting at the beginning of your question related to the fact that in Europe, for example, or in other countries, they use incentives like tax, etc., to help this collaboration. Actually, that's true. However, that mechanism works only at the beginning. Just to bring the SMEs, mainly the SMEs, who need always help and resources, because the big companies, they know exactly what they need. I mean, in terms of relationship with the university. That works at the beginning, but as soon as the SME or the company in general discover really the benefit of having a PhD or a graduate or undergraduate student within this collaboration, as soon as they see the benefit of having it and the transfer of the knowledge and technologies that he's bringing from the university, they never, they continue working with the university and they ask for more students, more collaboration. So this is really a reality, and that's why in countries like Germany, France, UK, etc., this is really working very well with or without the taxes. Now, when you come to Qatar and to our landscape here, I think it's similar. When I was working in the Digital Incubation Center in the ICT Qatar in the past, we really focused on this relationship between the policymakers, the ministries in general, the universities and the industry. And the DIC, the Digital Incubation Center, is really in the middle of all this. So we made relationship with the students and the professors from the university. We have the applications from the industry and the business sector. And we have startups within the DIC that are also looking for finding solution and collaborating, etc. So this model, I think, of incubation of startups in Qatar, which is really successful because we have different incubators, by the way, need really to be encouraged. And we need really to enhance the relationship through these startup incubators between the industry from one side and the research sector from the other side. In Qatar University, just to mention Qatar University, we are really making big efforts today in opening new grants, new programs related to this collaboration between the stakeholders and the university. We have several companies like Marubini, like QP, like many companies who opened with us programs because both the companies and ourselves, we are convinced today that the solution for the future is really in the collaboration. So we are opening more and more new programs related to the collaboration. So we have funding or co-funding to find really new solutions. We have a program called CTP, from concept to prototype. We have collaboration with CAFCO, for example, related to the food safety, etc. So we think that today many companies are really understood let's say the collaboration or the benefit of the collaboration with the university, and we hope that in the future we will have more and more, and we invite more and more companies to work with the universities in general in Qatar, really to tackle the common problems that we have, because as I said, technology is going fast, processes are becoming more and more complex, and the only way to tackle them is really to make a partnership between the scientific sector and the economical and industrial sector.
Thank you, Dr. Abdulaziz, for this information. And it's good news that we know that there are a lot of initiatives in terms of collaboration between industry and the Qatar University. Also, digital transformation of small business take us to the current situation of pandemic COVID-19, and we found out that digital transformation getting more importance compared to previous situation. And I'd like to ask Dr. Boumediene to give us an idea, how is COVID-19 change the business mindset, create opportunities, create a challenge to entrepreneurs, and giving more importance to digital transformation. Just give us an idea about current situation and how we can learn from COVID-19 crisis to develop new business model to transform our business into digital business. Dr. Boumediene?
Thank you, Dr. Mahmoud. So you talk about entrepreneurs, and here you have two camps. One camp where entrepreneurs are very positive about the situation. They say, what can I make? Can I make this situation to the best of my, or how can I reap the benefits of this current situation? And you've got the other side, which is much more negative, much more not wanting to be, not going out of bed and making things happen for their businesses. Now, the two camps really come to an understanding, which is, how do I make some of the business services, how can I make them virtual? And here is some of the research that has been done, recent one, shows us that if the businesses have gone from delivering physical services to going to do them virtually. Now, going from physical to virtual is what a lot of businesses have a lot of small businesses or small business entrepreneurs have done. Now, that transition from physical to virtual is where business opportunities happen. And you can see it in, the delivery services, you can see it in, some of the, even the technology service, in education, in so many things that have made technology the enabler of having that social distance, having that, safety net, having that. So businesses are going, okay, if it's not part of my DNA, if technology is not part of what I do, still, can I make it part of what I do and also reap some of the benefits and create value, create new business models through going from physical to virtual?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Boumediene. Dr. Mukhtar, can you add something about COVID-19 and digital transformation of small business? We know that a lot of changes happened because of this pandemic, but the main thing that we notice related to our discussion today is digital transformation. As you can see, online order, like restaurant, hotels, everything is changing. How digital transformation be integrated with current situation, and how we can benefit from current situation?
Yeah, thank you so much. This COVID-19, I think, has learned a great lesson for us to embrace digital transformation. Now we have many services. For example, the home delivery services. So platform-based Talabat is booming. And so people are having more meals home. They're not going to the restaurants because of COVID. If we think about gym, the gyms are closed, so people are having online way of doing their things. So many instructors are using online platforms. Even this session is a result of COVID-19. So we are living with digital transformation things due to COVID-19, like every second, not only every day. So so many small companies are getting benefit if they're platform-based. But now, if we think about really very traditional companies, which have maybe physical materials or product to sell, they have difficulty. But platform-based businesses are booming. Maybe for some reason, some companies are having little bit slow speed, but it shows that due to COVID, digital-based platforms, they will survive if others don't. And their future is very promising. And this is also teaching us that we need to embrace digital transformation things in our businesses. So doesn't matter if it's a small company or big company, or it's a non-profit organization or a government organization, all of them, they understand now very well the importance of digital activities or platform-based activities. And if we look at the recent businesses or startups, even in Qatar, we'll see that most of the things are based on platforms. So if we think about Ehtaraz, can we just imagine what would be the other option if we didn't have such a platform to check about COVID pandemic gravity across Qatar or elsewhere? So I think this COVID-19 has opened our eyes very wide towards digital transformations, and we can't ignore at all now. So previously it was like, it is a good option to have digital transformation, but now it is a must. No matter which organization you are working in, digital transformation is a must option.
Thank you, Doctor. The last question to all of you, that is about how we can learn from digital transformation, how we can prepare our entrepreneurs, especially nowadays, like we haven't communication face-to-face, and would like to keep educating our students about entrepreneurship. We would like to run our conferences, our seminars, workshop, everything becoming virtual, and how we can deliver a good services to our entrepreneurs in current situation using digital transformation. Maybe Dr. Abdulaziz can give us an idea from our experience in Qatar University. Please.
Yeah, thank you. I think for me, one point is really, really very important today, because the competition is very high. We have seen it, and the time also is very important. So we need really to provide to our entrepreneurs and also to our students and all the young people who would like really to go towards digital transformation. We need really to give them the opportunity to make prototypes quickly. Prototyping is really very important. As I said, there were some programs that have been opened, like the emergency grants, like QNRF, for example, is making big efforts around COVID, etc. They open specific programs. And I think this is the solution. We need really to give the right solutions in the right time to the entrepreneurs and to the young people to prototype their ideas, to design or to test quickly. Because when it comes to digital transformation, we said that it's a matter of processes and technologies, and they need really to go very fast and to test them. So we need to provide for them the platform, as the needed platforms, as my colleague said, and also the needed resources actually to make that very quickly, because the time is really very important when it comes to digital transformation.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Dr. Boumediene, you contribute to pre-incubation training program, which we run in Qatar University to prepare our entrepreneurs. And this program was a virtual program. How is the reaction of our entrepreneurs to online services, especially during this pandemic? How is their reaction? How is their understanding? Are they encouraged, or like your opinion about online services to our entrepreneurs?
Look, we have collected a lot of feedback from the students and entrepreneurs, and we know for sure that we are delivering the service up to the standard, but even more than, because there is a lot of work that goes behind the scenes to deliver the service at the acceptable and even better service delivery. Now, there's a point there I want to make regarding the earlier question, is that not because of COVID-19 we are doing digital transformation. No, look, a lot of research, consulting research, I'm talking about the big 4 consulting firms that have done digital transformation, they have shown us, especially the IBMs, and they've shown us that digital transformation, if you make it your business, then you will be getting more revenues. Your profitability will increase. Now, that we cannot just disregard completely, because competition is very high at the moment, and COVID-19 is going to hopefully disappear at some point.
Inshallah.
But thankfully, we are doing the virtual, and we're doing it up to the standard demanded.
I do agree with you that digital transformation is before COVID-19, but it's good. It's momentum because of COVID-19. Now it's get more importance of current situation, and a lot of initiative even now, would like to leverage what we have been done. We do training, we do conferences, we do even matchmaking entrepreneurs with investors. We'd like to build on such success. This is the idea. At the end, before we conclude our discussion, I'd like to get from Dr. Abdulaziz short message about digital transformation and academia, which he can short message for us and for the audience about digital transformation.
I think it's more a wish actually than other thing. Is really I wish that in the coming years, the coming months, we will really partner. We will have partnership more and more with our landscape, with the stakeholders, because I'm convinced that the solution is really in the partnership. As I said, the technology is something, and the processes is other thing, and the systems, etc. So when we talk about the transformation and digital technologies, etc., it's not just, the problem is not learning the technology, it's also learning the processes and understanding where we are going, and everything is moving. And so it's very important that the university and the economical sector work together to really tackle the broad problems that we have and that are coming, and to bring innovative technologies, innovative products, innovative systems, etc.
Thank you.
So, and I think the example of grants that I mentioned, which are really cooperation between the industry and the university, is a real example. I wish really that we can continue together, and I invite really the industries and the economical sector to collaborate with the university in general.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Boumediene, your message to business and the small business about digital transformation, its importance. Short message.
Right. In one sentence, whichever industry you are operating in, make digital transformation your business. If it's not your business, then you will be losing out.
Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Mukhtar, your message to entrepreneurs? and the new generation about preparing them for future?
Yeah, very brief. I would say we need to be careful about the product life cycle or the offering service, whatever we have. Very short. So we have something today, maybe someone else is coming with something better tomorrow. So thing that is very precious today, maybe worthless in the next day. So when we talk about young generations, and they come up with many platform-based businesses, these are promising, but very short life cycle. So we need to think how we can have products or services which have far-fetching business opportunities. This is, I would say, in brief.
Okay, thank you, our guests. At the end, I'd like to thank our respected guests, Dr. Abdulaziz Boras, Professor of Computer Engineering and Manager of Research Support Office in Qatar University, Dr. Boumadia Ramdani, Assistant Professor at the Center of Entrepreneurship at Qatar University, and Dr. Mukhtar Hussein, Assistant Professor of Management at Center for Entrepreneurship in Qatar University. Thank you, everyone, and thank you to have you tonight. Have a good night. Thank you.